Hi, thanks for joining me today. For this week's Start to Finish Sunday video, I decided to do something a little bit different. This is a photo that I found on Pinterest, and of course I repinned it because I think these shoes are absolutely adorable. But it also got me thinking about unique color combinations and maybe some different ways of using color than what I've tried in the past. So I thought that it might be fun to use this photo as inspiration and try to create my color palette for this week's card based on this photo. So here's what I came up with. This is Basic Gray, Pool Party, Sahara Sand, Very Vanilla, and Cajun Craze. Now, friends of ours are expecting their second baby later on this spring, and they're not finding out if it's a boy or a girl, which I think is very brave of them. But the thing that bugs me is the majority of gender-neutral baby things seem to be in yellow and green. So I thought, why not take this unique color combination and make a gender-neutral baby card out of it? So I'm going to be using the Little Editions stamp set, which I absolutely adore. I think it is just so adorable. This is from the main 2012-2013 catalog. And I'm going to be using the crib and the mobile stamp. The first thing that I did was create my card base out of the Sahara Sand cardstock. And this is going to be a top folding portrait style card. So this measures 4 1/4 by 11. And I'm going to go ahead and score it at 5 1/2. And then I'm going to fold away from my score line. And go over that fold with my bone folder to make sure that it's a nice, crisp, clean fold. Now I'm going to do a fun technique that I love where I'm going to create a window, a cutout in the front of the card, and then I'm actually going to do most of my stamping on a panel that I'm going to glue inside the card so that the stamped images are going to show through the front of the card. So this is a framelit from the Labels collection. And I'll just center that on the card. I'm centering it horizontally, and it's, I would say, a little bit maybe above center vertically. And then, of course, my favorite trick, I'm going to bring in a Post-it note and use that to stick down my die to make sure that it doesn't move. Okay, now I brought in my Big Shot because I want to show you how to do this. It's not too much different, but I can tell you I've screwed this up a bunch of times. So I've got my platform with all the tabs closed, and I'm just going to place a cutting pad on there. Now this is the important part. Make sure that you open up your card because you only want to cut through the front of the card. You don't want a hole going all the way through your card. And again, it seems like a no-brainer, but I have screwed this up so many times. Okay, and then just place your other acrylic cutting pad on top and go ahead and run this through. And here you can see when we remove the Post-it notes and remove that die, we have this great window in the front of our card. But now I've got to keep my Big Shot out because I'm going to show you a couple other things I'm going to do with it while I have it out. So now I have on my multi-purpose platform and my cutting pad here just a piece of Pool Party, and I'm using the oval die that is one size up. This is the exact one that we used to cut the window out. Let me just show you here. So it's one step up is the die that I'm going to be cutting out of the Pool Party, and we're doing this to create a little frame for the window in our card. So same thing, I'll just put my other cutting pad on top and run this through. Now I'm going to take this oval that we cut out and take the smaller one, which remember is the same size as the one we cut the frame out of, and I'm just going to line this up so that it is centered in that oval. And then, of course, my favorite trick again, I'll just take the Post-it notes and put these back. And now I'm just going to lift this up very carefully, put my cutting pad back down, Okay. Put my other cutting pad on top and run it through. And you can see here we have this perfect oval frame that's going to fit perfectly right around the window that we cut in the front of our card. But one more thing to do while I still have the big shutout. This time I've got my multi-purpose platform on tab 1, and I've got one acrylic pad down. And I'm going to use the chevrons embossing folder. Make sure that you line the edge of the design here up with the fold of your card. Now I'm just going to very carefully place my other cutting pad on top. Hold that tight while I begin to run it through. And I'm using my two-way glue pen to adhere this. And I like to just place a piece of scrap paper inside my card so that I can make sure that I'm lining it up perfectly with that window. You can see how great that frame looks. Isn't that cute? I've got a piece of Very Vanilla that's cut down to 4 by 5 1/4. And I'm just going to use some temporary adhesive to adhere this to the inside of the card so that I can make sure I can get my placement perfect. But I don't want to adhere it down permanently yet. In case I mess up, then I can just cut another piece of the Very Vanilla and I don't have to start all over. So I'll close my card. And with a pencil, I'm just going to very lightly trace that oval so I know exactly where my stamping needs to be. And now I can pull this up. And this is where I'm going to do my stamping, and I can set this aside for now. Okay, I already have my 2 stamp images set up on my Stamp-A-Majig because I know that I want to get my placement absolutely perfect within that oval that I drew. So I'm going to place the crib image centered and kind of towards the bottom, just like that. And the crib stamp, I'm actually going to color with markers. I'm using my basic gray marker and my Cajun Craze marker. And you can see there's this cute little heart on the crib, and I want that to be the Cajun Craze color. So that's why I'm using markers. So I'll go in and color that heart first. And then I can carefully color the rest of the crib with my basic gray marker. So I'll just double check my Stamp-A-Majig placement. Looks pretty good. Remove the imaging sheet. Now remember, when you color with markers, when you stamp with markers, you need to huff on your stamp to re-moisten the ink, which means you're going to breathe that moist, wet air from your breath is going to reactivate that ink. Go ahead and line up your stamp. Stamp straight down, press firmly. And lift straight up, and you got a perfect multicolored stamp image. Now I'm going to use Pool Party to stamp the little mobile, and I'm going to have that coming down from the top of the oval. So I'll just get my Stamp-A-Majig lined up just where I want it. Actually, I think I'm going to put it, well, I'm going to put it off to the side just a little bit. Like that. Go ahead and ink up my stamp really well. And stamp that down. Now I'm also going to stamp the majority of my sentiment on the inside here. I'm using this new set from the spring catalog. It's called Cuddles and Kisses, and it's a baby sentiment stamp. We're going to use this sentiment here, which says, "A new little someone to kiss and love, a happy addition from heaven above." I think that is just so adorable. So I am going to go ahead and stamp that, and I'm going to use Cajun Craze, and it's going to be stamped on the inside of the card as well. And I will just line that up, centered below the oval. Okay. Place my Stamp-A-Majig tool. And just because I already have it out on my desk, I'm just going to use my Cajun Craze marker to color this and stamp straight down and straight up. So here you can see my focal image is all finished, and I'm just gonna go around and very carefully erase my pencil line. Okay, slight change of plans. My pencil line did not want to erase. I think you can see it better now than you could before I tried to erase it. No matter how lightly I try to draw my pencil lines, I can never really get them to erase properly, and this is driving me nuts. Okay, this definitely came out way better. You can see it's nice and lined up on the inside, and it lines up perfectly with this oval window that we cut out. So let me tell you what I did. I literally did the exact same thing, except I temporarily adhered my Whisper White to the inside, did not draw a pencil line, temporarily adhered the front of the card to the back of the card, and then I literally just stamped through the window. I did the exact same thing. I used my Stamp-O-Majig and just lined it up where I wanted it and just stamped right through the window. So unless you're really, you know, light-handed with your pencil, maybe give it a try this way, see what works for you. But this looks way better to me. So now one more quick little embellishment for the front to add to our sentiment. Let me show you what that is. Okay, this is the congratulations stamp from the Cuddles and Kisses. There it is, you can see it from the Cuddles and Kisses stamp set. And I'm just centering that on a little strip of 1/2 inch very vanilla cardstock. And I'm also going to ink this with my Cajun Craze marker. Oops. And I will stamp that down. Okay. And then the Little Additions stamp set has this really cute little 3-heart stamp. And actually, I think all 3 of them will fit on there. So I'm going to just take my pool party marker and I was just going to do one of the hearts. That's why I'm using the marker. But I'll just color those. And I'm going to stamp that on either side of the congratulations. So as you all know, I'm sure, I can't seem to do a card without a banner, so I just went ahead and trimmed this down and I cut the little banner ends in each end of the cardstock. I'm going to take a couple of dimensionals and just put one at each end, just like that. And what we're going to do here is make a really cute little floating banner over the top of the window. So I'll just line that up, center it, and just have it overlap the window just a little bit. Okay. And there you can see how that kind of floats over top of the window. See that? And here we have our finished baby card with a unique and gender neutral color combination. You can see here what it looks like on the inside. I stamp my focal image on the inside and the rest of my sentiment, and has this fun floating sentiment on the window on the front. So I hope that you enjoyed this card. I apologize for the little mishap, but I hope that that gave you some tips for how to fix mistakes when you're crafting, and I will catch you next time for another video. Until then, happy stampin'. Bye-bye.